Good morning. Welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Tuesday, October the 22nd, and we are here to look at the new releases that have been published this week. We look at each genre each day, Monday through Friday. On Mondays, we look at cozy mysteries. On Tuesdays, we look at mysteries and thrillers. On Wednesdays, we look at romance. On Thursdays, it is fantasy and science fiction. Friday is Freeform Friday, and we look at whatever I want to look at, which is some things that don't necessarily fall into the other categories, or we look at more cozy mysteries because there's always a lot of cozy mysteries. But today is mysteries and thrillers. Good morning, Annalise. How are you? How are you doing over there? Hope you had a good weekend. All right. Quick announcements. I do have sprints tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. They go for 2.5 hours. I do those 3 times a week, every Tuesday and Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern, and Saturday afternoon starting at 3 for 5 hours. So a total of 10 hours of sprinting and 5 days of new releases. By the time we're done looking at the new releases, we've looked at probably over 75 minimum of books each week. Oh, good. All right. Carla's Choice, a Jean Le Carré novel by Nick Harkaway. Oh, taking over the George Smiley character, the spy. It is spring in 1963, and George Smiley has left the circus. With the wreckage of the West spy war against the Soviets strewn across Europe, he has eyes only for a more peaceful life. And indeed, with his marriage more secure than ever, there is a rumor that George Smiley might almost be happy. But Control has other plans. A Russian agent has defected in the most unusual of circumstances, and the man he was sent to kill in London is nowhere to be found. Smiley reluctantly agrees to one last simple task: interview Susanna, a Hungarian immigrant and employee of the missing man, and sniff out a lead. But in his absence, the shadows of Moscow have lengthened. Smiley soon finds himself entangled in a perilous mystery that will define the battles to come and set him on a collision course with the greatest enemy he will ever make. This is set, it says, in the missing decade between John le Carré's books The Spy Who Came In From the Cold and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Interesting. It only hurt for a moment. That doesn't sound very good. This is by Delilah S. Dawson. Sarah Carpenter is starting over. She's on the run, leaving behind her unsupportive, narcissistic ex-boyfriend and alcoholic abusive mother, and headed for a new beginning at Tranquil Falls, a secluded artist colony on the grounds of a closed hotel. There, with no cell signal or internet to distract her, she hopes to rediscover her love for pottery and put the broken pieces of her life back together. But when Sarah uncovers a body of a young woman while digging a hole for a pit kiln, things start to fall apart. Her fellow artists begin to act in troubling ways. The eccentric fiber artist knits an endless scarf. The musician plays the same carousel song over and over until his fingers bleed. The calligrapher grins with ink-stained teeth, not to mention the haunting dreams Sarah has night after night. When she discovers glass shards in her clay, Sarah wonders if someone is out to get her, or if she's losing her grip on reality out here in the wilds, where the pounding of the waterfall never, ever fades. As she investigates the beautiful valley and the crumbling resort looming over them all, she unearths a chilling past that refuses to remain buried. Creepy. Told you this is the darker side of crime fiction. Yesterday is fluffy, today is darker. Good morning, Kim. Had to restart my phone to chat. Oh, gotcha. Well, welcome. Oh, that is right. Today is Tuesday. Good luck. I look forward to hearing good news. And at least I plan to get into some English books, easy ones. And so nice to be here now. Oh, yes, it's good to see you. And it was good to see Sarah last night. Indeed. It's an amazing thing that we can do these days with heart transplants. Beyond Reasonable Doubt by Robert Dugoni. This is second in the Kira Duggan series. When Jenna Bernstein, disgraced Wonder Kid CEO of a controversial biotech company, is accused of murdering her former partner and lover, she turns to Seattle attorney Kira Duggan to defend her. Kira is more than a master chess player who brings her intuitive moves into court. She's Jenna's childhood friend. But considering their history, Kira knows that where Jenna goes, trouble follows. 5 years earlier, Kira's father successfully defended Jenna when she was tried for the killing of her company's chief scientist, who threatened to go public with allegations of corporate fraud. Kira knows Jenna too well. When she was a kid, Kira saw Jenna for what she was, a manipulative and frighteningly controlling sociopath. Now, with only circumstantial evidence against Jenna, Kira is willing to bury any trepidation she might have to defend a woman she believes, this time, to be innocent. As the investigation gets underway and disturbing questions arise, Kira puts her trust in a client who swears that this time she's telling nothing but the truth. If this is all just another devious game, Kira might be working to set a murderer free. I'm intrigued. I'd read the first book, but I'm intrigued. Cradle, a Max Fenn thriller by Chris Bauer, second in the Maximum Risk series. Max Fenn's world orbits around the marvels of the stars above. As an integral cog in the imminent Artemis moon mission and the heartbeat of Fenn Aerospace, he's accustomed to challenges that stretch beyond the Earth's atmosphere, yet he's entirely unprepared for the force of nature that is Gus Gomez. Gus isn't just a brilliant Peruvian immigrant harboring an indigenous leather pouch steeped in mystery. She's a maelstrom of history, fleeing dark shadows while simultaneously careening towards a cosmic destiny. What? The pouch she carries contains a crucible of secrets, and it has the potential to upend humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. As a storm of ancient secrets and vendettas swirls, Max is thrust into the fray, but with Gus's fiery determination and enemies closing in, can Max navigate the dangers and keep the past revelations from shattering the future? Okay. There's a whole lot of nothing there. I'm assuming it's a thriller. End of row one. I have confusions, but I'm going to let it go. Lee Child has a new one. Annalise said, "Hi Kim, good to hear about Sarah." Indeed. I like fluffy books. Yeah, she should be home soon. That is very good. Yes, fluffy sounds good. It takes so long with reading, or worse, audible in English. I am Norwegian. That you can read in another language. Wow. I admire you greatly. Into Deep. This is a Jack Reacher novel, but he is sharing it with Andrew Child, which I'm assuming is his son. I read a couple, but it's been a long time, of course. Watched the movies. This is 29th in that series. Reacher had no idea where he was, no idea how he had gotten there, but someone must have brought him. He and shackled him, and whoever had done those things was going to rue the day. That was for damn sure. The last thing Reacher can recall is the car he hitched a ride in getting run off the road. The driver was killed. His captors assume Reacher was the driver's accomplice and patch up his wounds as they plan to make him talk. A plan that will backfire spectacularly. And mayhem will ensue. One can be assured of that. One of Us is Dead by Peter James, 20th in the Roy Grace series. Oh, they turned this into a show on BritBox. When James Taylor arrives late for a funeral, he has to stand at the back of the small church. But as the service progresses, Taylor notices a man 6 rows in front of him. At first, he thinks he must be mistaken, but the more he looks at him, the more convinced Taylor becomes that this is his old school friend, Rufus Rourke. Except it couldn't be him, could it? Because 2 years ago, Taylor attended Rufus Rourke's funeral. He even delivered Rufus's eulogy. On the other side of Brighton, at police headquarters, Detective Superintendent Roy Grace has been alerted to a number of suspicious deaths that he can't get out of his mind. But how are they linked? And how could they possibly be connected to Rufus Rourke? Roy Grace is about to find out just how dangerous a dead man can be. Police procedural, yay! I just like them in general. I don't think I've read any of that series. Sometimes you just get in the mood for them. The Arizona Triangle, a Joe Balin detective novel by Sidney Graves. On the cusp of 40, Justine Balin, better known as Jo, works for an all-female detective agency based in Tucson, Arizona. While staking out a cheating spouse, she learns that her long-estranged best friend from Arizona, Rose, is missing, and that Rose's mother wants to hire Jo to find her. This case is all kinds of wrong for Jo, but she has no choice but to head back to her hometown an hour north and a world away from Tucson. Back in Delphi, she learns that her high school boyfriend, Tyler, who is probably part of the reason her friendship with Rose went south, is the cop assigned to the case. It doesn't take long for Jo to realize that he's all mixed up in it too. To have any hope of learning the truth about Rose's disappearance, Jo must finally face the demons she thought she'd escaped. And I mentioned we're on the darker side of crime. Didn't sleep good last night. Oh no, going to nap before I have to get ready. That is a good plan. I'm crocheting. Oh, neat, on your advent tablecloth. Awesome. I played with yarn last night. I'm not having much happiness. It is a wedding gift for March, and the person loves spirals, and I just don't do spirals very well, apparently. The Vanishing at Echo Lake by Joseph Falink. 3 couples, a weekend getaway at a secluded lake house. Always. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. Every time. Don't do it. Ben and Kelsey, Teddy and Denna, and Pete and Carrie haven't seen each other in 16 months. The friends are excited to reconnect, and the trip is a welcome, though cautious respite during a lull in the raging pandemic outbreak. Each couple brings along their own relationship issues and challenges, along with their fragile hopes of finding normalcy in a brighter, if yet uncertain, future. What awaits them is at Echo Lake, however, is more deadly than the virus. The unexplainable will become the unavoidable and then the inevitable. Each friend will be tested to their limits. It will take sheer determination and resolve to survive, if they can. End of row 2. Didn't have a lot today. We might be looking at some more cozies today. What Are the Odds? By David List. Ray Dawson, a former NYPD detective unfairly forced into early retirement, never thought he would get another chance to be with his second wife and love of his life, Stephanie. So when she opens the door to the possibility, he spends his savings on an extravagant romantic getaway at a resort in Costa Rica. But Ray is still as much a cop as he is a man, and when in the hotel elevator he has a chance encounter with Wilbur Bailey, a wily, neurotic, and environmentally conscious fugitive with a $5 million bounty on his head, things get complicated. You chose to make them complicated. IRS Special Agent Phil Dancourt is determined to bust Micah Salco, the corrupt CEO of Houston-based Amco Oil, and believes Wilbur Bailey, an Amco analyst with a conscience, is the one guy on the inside who could help bring Seiko down. But in a bizarre twist, Bailey embezzles millions and disappears, putting Phil's job on the line. Now, after Wilbur is sighted in Costa Rica, Phil is sent to retrieve him, but from the moment he steps off the plane and crosses paths with Ray and Wilbur, nothing goes as planned. The encounter propels the three men into harrowing, death-defying, life-changing, and often hilarious journey, attracting unwanted attention from a heroin-addicted dishwasher, a powerful, corrupt CEO, bloodthirsty gangs and drug cartels, and pandering government watchdogs. In the meantime, what's Stephanie doing? Along the way, they come face to face in unexpected ways with life's larger questions: friendship, love, lost faith, and the commitment to values larger than oneself. What results is a trio of unlikely friends, and Ray can only hope that once it's over, Stephanie will still be there. Dude. Yeah. I don't read any books set during that time. You Can Kill by Rebecca Zanetti, or You Can Kill. Would you say that? Fourth in the Laura Snow thrillers. The first body is torn apart, blood and flesh discovered across both state and federal lands. Did I say we're doing darker stuff? Yes. As the victims multiply, a pattern emerges. Each is related to past cases investigated by Laurel Snow with the assist of Huck Rivers, Washington Fish and Wildlife captain. When friends and loved ones are targeted, things become even more chillingly personal. As Laurel and Huck team up to navigate the gruesome and increasingly bizarre killings, they must also keep a safe distance from Laurel's half-sister Abigail, a dangerously clever sociopath. Ever since their father reappeared in town, Abigail has been convinced she must protect Laurel from his malignant narcissism, a scourge she's sure they've both inherited. Huck is not spared either, as a shocking development in the case touches his own life. With the murders and the suspects multiplying around them and the lives of everyone in their orbit at stake, only Laurel's sharp analytic skills, Huck's deep gut instincts, and their growing bond will enable them to face the demons within and the threats without, before they're next on the elusive killer's hit list. You have gone too far. Look at this bottom row. What are the odds you can kill? You have gone too far. We've got a little side story going on there. Yeah, I don't want, yeah, me too. I'm sure there's nice for spirals. Yeah, I have found several, and I've tried them. I'm just not good at them. I guess I need practice, but it's frustrating. Why does she like spirals of all things? You Have Gone Too Far by Carleen O'Connor, third in the County Kerry series. After two pregnant women in Dingle, who have never met each other, receive a chilling email warning them that they're in grave danger, the two decide to meet each other to figure out what is going on. But when one of the mothers, Shauna, a deaf woman, arrives at their meeting place at the village spring festival, she fears a trap and hurries off to meet the couple who plan to adopt her baby. Meanwhile, Dipna Wild has her hands full with lambing season and keeping track of her father, so she's grateful for the help of a well-meaning 10-year-old boy, Dylan, at the veterinary clinic. But when the lad goes missing after going into a bog on a dare with two other boys to search for a monster, she is desperate to help find him. After the adoptive couple are discovered tied up in their home, telling a terrifying story of a deaf pregnant woman being abducted by a man wearing a butterfly mask, Detective Inspector Cormac O'Brien and Detective Sergeant Barbara Neely fear a repeat of a disturbing case from 20 years earlier, when a charismatic leader calling himself the Shepherd lured poor pregnant girls into his enigmatic drinking game cult. Though allegations of baby smuggling were never proven, he's been put away on other charges. But then they learn that the Shepherd has recently been released from prison. Trapped in a cold, dark room with a frightened boy, Shauna fears for their lives as well as their unborn baby, of her unborn baby. If she has any chance of getting out and away from the Mothman, as she calls her abductor, she'll have to figure out the truth behind who she really is and how that connects to the ordeal she finds herself in now. The time is running out and her baby will be born soon. And that is all that we have there. We do have a little bit more time. Let's see if I can remember where I think we ended at pie for pie. Let's put some fluff in the day before we leave. Between You and Me by Gregory Ash, fifth in the Last Picks series. Dashiell Dawson Dane is certain the universe is conspiring against him. After all, things have been good, almost too good, for way too long. He's got a great group of friends. He's writing regularly, and things with Bobby seem like they might, maybe, possibly be moving beyond friend territory. It's also good, in fact, that it feels like the setup for something truly catastrophic. Not to mention, it's the weekend before Valentine's Day. So when Dash and his friends visit Shipwreck Shores, a local amusement park, he's not terribly surprised when he stumbles across a body in the funhouse. The surprising part comes when the body disappears before park security or the sheriff can see it. And while no one will say it to his face, some people in Hastings Rock seem to suspect Dash of making it up. Nobody means no official investigation, so Dash finds himself forced into his own search for answers. But the killer isn't done yet, and Dash's sleuthing sets the two of them on a collision course. You just want attention, don't you? Snuffing Up Bones by Donna Ray Menard. First in the Pig and Eye mysteries. Well, here's a fun one to end on. Spring is waning and summer is on the way. It's a beautiful day for Doris Flynn to take Rex and Buttercup, her 450-pound lap pig, for a walk along the ridge. While Doris is admiring the flora and fauna, Buttercup is snuffling up the seedier side of things and uncovers the remains of a deceased forest brethren. Though Buttercup is quite interested, Doris is disgusted. Diverting the pig isn't easy, but when she's gone, Doris is left looking at a human skull barely half a mile from her home. A call to 911 brings the sheriff. That's not a 911 type of call. Side note. And the medical legal death investigator. Both are new, have an agenda, are questioning the viability of a pet pig. While Doris ponders how the remains got to a place directly above her home and how her daughter is tied into the case, the sheriff, unsure of his own staff, is trying to decipher the why. That leaves only the who and how, the medical legal death investigators' forte. Are they going to find a way to work together and figure this out? Or are the outsiders now prowling the area going to wreak more havoc? And there you go. We end on a pig. Yay! All righty. So tomorrow we're going to be looking at love romance books. Probably a whole lot more of Christmas rom-coms because we seem to be in that season. Come on, you. Come on, you. Give me a pretty picture. There we go. All righty. So again, we do have sprints tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. I get here as quickly as I can after work with a 20-minute drive and then a quick walk of Keo. I get here as quickly as I can. Sometimes about 10 minutes early I can start. So be sure to hit the notification bell because sometimes it helps you. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it does. And I hope you have a very good Tuesday. Kim, good luck with your appointment. Let us know. We're sending you good vibes. And Annalise, thank you so much for being here this morning. So I hope you guys have a good Tuesday. Hope to see you later. You'll be here if I'm up. Well, it's understandable if you're not because it will be way late where you are. And I appreciate when you're able to. Everybody, please, you're in my heart. Have a good day. And as the banner says, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Blah, blah, blah. Have a good day. God bless.